The moment I finished color grading my footages and heard the music automatically dunk under my voice for the very first time was when I realized this was beyond school exercise and this was me doing an actual video editing. Here's how I got there. Hi, my name is Drey and this is my documentary. So I am learning professional video editing from scratch. So I will be filming every step of my journey. Okay, before I jump right into session 1, I had to get myself ready for this journey. Okay, so I acquired a 2021 MacBook Pro, which is M1 chip Pro, which is a solid buy, and so that will be my workstation. Okay, so my software editing tool we'll be working with is DaVinci. Yeah, so I was able to install it into the MacBook and was ready to go. So I video recorded myself on my iPhone for barely 3 to 5 minutes, and after that I dropped the video into the MacBook and I launched the DaVinci Resolve, where I started off by cutting and trimming. So cutting and trimming was basically the session 1 of this whole documentary, right? So the video I made between 3 to 5 minutes had a lot of rumbling. It had to be natural, obviously, where I would talk, pause, and not even know what to say at some point. So that was the basics of session 1. So I did the cutting, I did the trimming using cutting blades, rambling tools, and yeah, so I took off all the rambling, and wherever part of the video I felt wasn't necessary, I took them off. So after everything, I think we had about 90 seconds of the video left. Yeah, so that was the foundation for the whole cutting and trimming. So session 2 was music and titles, right? Yeah, so I was able to add the background music from some royalty-free website like that. Yeah, so I manually balanced the volume under my voice, which means you obviously hear me speaking just like you're hearing me now, but the background music is under my voice. So you hear the both, but my voice would overlay the background music. Yeah, so after that, I went on to add a text from Text Plus, which was, let's say, session 2, right? Yeah, so that was the basis for session 2, and I learned how to loop the background music to cover the entire video. Yeah, so that was the basics for session 2. So session 3 was color correction and exports. Yeah, so I visited the color page for the very first time, and I primarily learned how to adjust the colors using the color wheels. Okay, yeah, so DaVinci could be very difficult at times trying to navigate. Yeah, but for the very first time, but I can assure you that you get used to it. Yeah, so I went on to adjust the saturations using gamma and the rest of the tools I found there. I adjusted it to my preferred balance. Okay, so after that I went on to export it. Yeah, they have a whole preset there, so I picked the YouTube preset, and that was me exporting my very first video in this journey. Right, so session 4 was all about B-rolls and cutaways, right? So the B-rolls are short clips used to replace cut and join junctions of a segment in the videos, right? So instead of rolls, to cover that up, to make it invisible to be noticed on the outside, right? So those were the basics of session 4. It wasn't much, but it was a bit tricky, right? And my knowledge on it, I never knew of such. So those are bases for being a professional in the scheme, right? So that was the basis for session 4, which are B-rolls and cutaways, where I overlaid a short clip of text to make the cut and join invincible. Yeah, so that was the basis for that. So session 5 was a solo project, right? Where I ran the entire pipeline independently for the very first time, right? I filmed myself again. I exported it into the MacBook and I edit. I started by trimming. I just started the basis from session 1 to session 4. Yeah, trimming, music, color corrections, yeah, background music, the rest of the whole everything I did on session 1 to session 4. Yeah, so I did it without any step-by-step guidance from my assistant, obviously. Yeah, so that was basically and practically session 5. It was a solo project of everything I had done from session 1 to session 4. So session 6 was pacing and rhythms. All right, so that was the kind of research work. I went on YouTube to watch a couple of videos how b-rolls are being placed, and I learned b-rolls drive energy, right? Not just the presenters words and illustration, but it actually drives energy, right? So I learned um, b-rolls cuts and b-rolls joints. Yeah, so I had to implement it. I had to intentionally implement it on my own video, where I took segments of videos like 12 to 15 seconds and add it on my clip. Yeah, so it was an intentional act. After the research, I used b-rolls not just where I had a cut and join, but where it seemed appropriate, emphasizing on whatever it was on the video. Yeah, so that was the basis for session 6, pacing and rhythms. So session 7 was audio docking. Yeah, audio docking was very personal to me because I never knew how it worked. So audio docking, I learned how to manually set the volume while keyframing on the music track, which means I added keyframes to automatically make background music under my voice and above my voice during b-rolls, which means that as I am talking to you, the background music will be below my voice, right? But as I am not saying anything right now, it goes up. So that is the basis for audio docking. So it makes it seems like when I am paused, it goes up, and when I am unmuted, it goes down. So session 8 was animated titles and motion graphics, right? So I discovered that most templates on the Resolve free version were not actually available, right? So I had to manually animate my titles using opacity, like the fade in, the hold, and the fade out, right? I had to manually use the keyframes to manufacture it, obviously, which is like the best way of learning, manually doing those things, as the template were not available. Right, so that was what I did on session 8. So after the entire session 1 to 8, you should be able to take a raw footage on your phone and implement everything that has been learned from the pipeline of session 1 to session 8 on a professional level and produce something, right? Yeah, so the next session was about creating the video as it whole, the structure of context and the rest of its hook, context, content, payoff, and outro. Yeah, so there's still enough room for learning after the entire session 1 to 8. So everything I have learned so far within the period of session 1 to session 8 cost me nothing but time, right? No paid courses, no expensive equipment. Obviously the MacBook was expensive, so I just used my MacBook, my phone for recording, yeah, and a free software, DaVinci Resolve is superb, right? And finally, consistency. If I can start from 0 and get here in 9 weeks, so can you. Follow the journey and let's see how far it goes.